What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Killing Floor 2. We are doing another shot at the weekly challenge that we did last time. But this time we are going to do something a little bit more kinda special, and we are actually going to use the reward that we grabbed last time, namely the Centerfire skin. So obviously the perk is going to be Gunslinger. Difficulty and length is set in this game mode, so can't do anything about that. And I did feel like going back to West London, kind of go a little bit vintage, a little bit old school here, and so yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I just thought it would be a cool idea to pick the new weapon and actually slap on the skin that we unlocked with this challenge and use it in this challenge, so yeah. I thought it's a cool idea, maybe not, but you know. Do think it's interesting. Plus the Centerfire is fun, like, admit it. And it does kind of lend itself towards this challenge, doesn't it? I mean, it is a headshot-centric weapon. If you do not get headshots with that, I don't know what you're doing. Well, I do know what you're doing. You're missing. That's what you're doing. Obviously, first wave we're kind of just doing 9mm. We obviously can't do Centerfire in the first wave, unless we enable cheats and spawn one, but yeah, I'm kind of not a fan of that at all. So now we buy one, we sell our revolver, buy our Centerfire, and that's actually the skin. Let's just quickly take a look at it.
Who needs ammo? We're almost out of time.
It does look pretty, doesn't it? Now this skin reminds me of something which I could bring up here, is what type of skin do I like now? I'm not the biggest fan of the skins that just slap a color scheme on there and have like nothing interesting at all. So I do like when there's some art to it, some drawing, some design. That's why I really like the Leviathan skin on the AK-12. And I really like how this one is done, like with a little challenge emblem there. And it actually looks pretty cool, I must say. I'm happy with this skin. And since we are on the subject of weekly rewards, I guess I could go a little bit into the rewards that the Summer Sideshow has given us, and also go into rewards that the weekly missions have given us so far. Now, let's start with the first weekly mission. Honestly, I think that reward looks... well, there's really no other way to put it, but I think it looks terrible. I do think it looks terrible. Now please don't call the fanboy brigade and have them defend the skin or something. This is not an offense towards people using it, and it is not an offense towards people liking it. You can use whatever you want, you can like whatever you want, I don't care. But it doesn't have to be for me, right? And, well, I just don't think it looks very good. The same goes for the Summer Sideshow hazmat suit. Personally, I think it looks terrible, but again, if you like it, go ahead and use it. And this is not as a complaint, this is just an opinion. I'm not complaining about anything here. I mean, it was free, it was a reward, I didn't pay anything for it. That's fine. That's great. And that actually brings me on the subject of unlocking stuff via the Summer Sideshow, via the weeklies. I really like the event.
to wrap things up, as they say.
So instead of making this only about the Centerfire skin, we could probably dive a little bit into what I think about the event. What I think about how it went so far. So, what do I think about the event?
Hurry up. Zeds are getting closer.
First things first, the event sets are amazing. They really look cool. They all stick to that certain theme with the circus. It fits the new map very well. I mean, that really suits. And I just think those new skins are done very well. The new sounds are really good. I actually really love the new siren. Like that guy singing, that's just great. Also the bloat, like, listen to that guy. But yeah, it is really cool, I think. Now I read on the forum where some people complained about them and asked, well, can we change them back? And now I don't think that option will be made available. I mean, it took until KF2 came out to have the skins available permanently on KF1. And to have an option to just switch between them. So I don't know if they will make that. I think as long as this event is going, we should probably be using those. But again, to each their own. I mean, if you're not a fan of these, then that's fine by me. I do like them. As far as things that could be improved about the skins, well, personally, maybe I'm just blind or something, but personally, I do have a slightly difficult time telling apart the exploding crawlers and the regular crawlers. Now in the regular game, you have the white ones and the black ones. God, that sounds racial. But yeah, you do have the white ones and you do have the black ones, and you know, well, you need to headshot the white ones. Not that I ever managed to do that, but in theory. And the black ones you just kill however you please. And that does sound wrong, I know, but please don't take that wrong. Now,
Time's almost up. Vite.
with these event sets, I actually have a real hard time telling those apart. The same actually goes with the gore fasts and the gore fiends. Now, I did get used to it a little bit more as I kept playing this, and I now have an easier time telling when there is a gore fiend and when there is a gore fast. But yeah, it has been pretty difficult. That was a terrible shot. But I mean, you have to kill it all anyway. Now with the gore fiends and the gore fasts, I don't think it matters much. Because you kinda want to headshot them both anyway. With crawlers, I think it matters a little bit more because they explode if you don't headshot them. So yeah, it might matter a little bit more. But like, that's nitpicking. That's not saying, well, the skins are shit because of that. That's really nitpicking because I wanted to give a full overview on what I'm thinking about these things. It's also a little bit unfortunate we rarely get to see the stalkers because we're, well, cloaked. Because they actually have a really cool skin as well. Ah, missed. Now another thing you could mention is the way the Scrake is walking now actually, I think, makes it harder to kill. It does make it a little bit more difficult on the railgun sharps, I think. The head is a little bit more difficult to spot. But that's just minor, I mean, If you do have trouble, just freeze him, right?
You need medical attention. Bring up the trading controls.
So
and
that's kind of
upgrade
what I think about the event sets. Now, let's go to the next point. Gameplay changes. Now, there hasn't been much that I really care about. I think the only thing that I do care about is the auto
We're
rage
almost
flash
out of
pounds.
time. Make your choices.
So we're going to go into that a little bit. What do I think about the auto rage flash pounds? I like the idea of having an advanced flash pound. I think the idea has been thrown around quite a bit as we started introducing advanced sets or advanced set types.
Back to it, mes amis.
Now,
Got some
do I
ammo
think
here.
the auto rage is the right way to go about it?
Dead yet? Not that.
Actually, I don't. I think it adds a randomness factor that in a game like this isn't always ideal. However,
Not a weapon if
I
it's
can
released.
appreciate the thought of it because it makes this specific flash pound an immediate threat that you need to take care of, as we actually
Like that, did you?
have a flash pound arrive right here.
Right.
That was a terrible shot.
Beginning. Let's call that your warm-up.
That's nice. Sort of.
Now obviously, as we keep having trouble with the crawlers, as you can tell from my initial thoughts on this, I'm a little bit split on the auto rage flash pounds.
Damn it, fucking move.
But actually, ultimately it comes down to the same thing that I said about the Gore Fiends. I do like them, I do like their idea, I do like how strong they are. I just think they might be a little bit too common on Hell on Earth. And that is honestly the same thing that I can say about
The Boston Navy takes round one.
the auto rage flash pounds. I think 75% is a bit high.
Right.
Excellent.
And from the limited experience I have with it in pub games, now I haven't played too many of them, but from the limited experience I did gain, whereas
He's on a rampage.
pub teams do struggle with it. Now obviously a good team can still take care of it,
Let's get you restocked.
but a medium team, I mean a bad team will fail anyway, it really doesn't matter, but a medium team which
Magnifique.
is already on the edge of between winning and losing, that could be what tips it in the favor of the Zeds. Now, what I do appreciate is that the game is getting better and better
Final choices, people. Enemies
at showing bad players. What I don't appreciate is that this does not just backfire on bad players. This Flash Pound, the auto-raged one, he can just go after the guy that's actually been doing well.
Time's almost up.
So,
Vite.
it's a bit of a split thing once again, but
Found ammo.
I really do like that the game is getting better and better at exposing bad
Doors
teams.
closed. Go make a difference.
And this change just is adding to that. As we kind of take that bloat apart.
He shoots, he kills.
So again, I think the idea of having a kind of special flesh pound is good. I do think 75% is a tad bit too high. Just a tiny bit. Personally, like when I read the announcement, I thought tops 50% would be good. 75% a little high.
Got your attention, eh?
On to the next thing, we have weekly challenges now. I do like that. From what I've read, there's going to be 8 of them, and then they start in the beginning again. So even if you do not have time to do one right now, you can just do them after the 8 weeks again. And 8 weeks is quite a long time actually, as I can't hit the head of that thing. Let's just kill that real quick. What I don't know is if the rewards will stay the same, like let's say this Centerfire skin, is it going to be the same reward in 8 weeks for this challenge? Or do the rewards change? Because if you missed it now, and rewards do change, then you can never get that skin again. If they do change, which I hope they do, you can get a very wide variety of free stuff, and well, that's a good thing, obviously, for most players. I mean, what's wrong with it? Like, even if you don't like the item in question, like I don't like the hazmat suit, and I don't like whatever that thing was that the Boom Challenge gave, but I do like this skin a lot, so there's probably something for every taste. And the weekly challenges add a lot of life back into the game, and I think that was necessary. Because, I mean, player numbers have been hovering around relatively low numbers. I mean, oftentimes under 3,000, and it's a bit of a shame to see this game dropped out of the top 100 Steam games, and I think the weekly challenges add a little bit of spice and a little bit of variety into the game, and I do appreciate that, I do like it.
Right, here comes cash on left.
And I must say, so far they have been pretty creative, and I can't wait to see what the other 6 of them will be, since there's going to be 8 in total. The Boom one was a really creative idea, and what I do like if you do play it in multiplayer is that the team composition changes a lot, depending on what you play. Now with this mode, your team composition probably isn't going to include a firebug, and probably isn't going to include a demo.
Too easy.
Is there anything else that is particularly bad at this? I don't know. But yeah, those 2 perks come to mind right away. And with the Boom Challenge, I mean, obviously Berserker is a bad idea. So I do like where this is going, like it kind of forces the teams to stay clear of certain perks. And it mixes up the team composition a bit. Which, in my book, is a plus. And it also tests different skills, like the Boom one kind of tested your ability to keep distance between you and the Zeds. This one tests your ability to actually deal headshots. So it's fun, I like it a lot. And I really can't wait to see what they do next and what kind of team challenges it's going to provoke. Now, I'm not really looking forward to the boss fight here, but you know, it's going to be alright. I hope, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Now I dropped the Centerfire on the ground there because I want a second one, as we are sticking to wet weapon only. Now I think it's very good in boss fights, so we'll see. We'll make it work somehow.
We're almost out of time.
So my overall verdict is the event has been great. It has been great for the game, it has been very good for the players. I like the rewards they are handing out. I like the weekly challenges so far, it has been 2 very good ones. I like the Z skins.
Zeds are getting closer.
So honestly, this has been a very good first event for KF2.
Port's closed.
And the last
Make a
thing
difference.
that was new was the new map. I also haven't really given very many thoughts on that. So what do I think about the new map? Well, first of all, it fits the kind of circus theme that they have going on with this event.
Like we've got a sneaky one.
And I actually had fun playing that map. Like, it's not only it fits the event, blah blah blah. I can't hit a headshot. Like, the trap idea was actually really cool, and it's also a lot different as far as... I hate this. It's also a lot different as far as the light cycle goes. Now on most maps... Hello. On most maps, they start with a lot of light. Take Black Forest or Z Landing as an example. And then they turn dark towards the later waves. Personally, I'm not too big of a fan of that. I actually much prefer the way it is done on Tragic Kingdom, where, well, you do turn the power on, you have light, you don't turn the power on, it's dark. That's cool. The traps are also... they're not the most creative, but I mean, they do what they're supposed to do, so... it's pretty cool. It's a nice feature. I hope they add kind of more interactive stuff in the next maps as well. So yeah, I do think pretty much everything about this event so far has been pretty cool. And yeah, share your thoughts on it. I hope you kind of enjoyed this gameplay, enjoyed the new weapon in action. And I hope you enjoy the new skin on this weapon. I do like it a lot, maybe you do as well. So, hope you enjoyed the gameplay. Until next time, farewell.